Hail, adventurer!
This is not.
Hail and well met.
Hi, Griffin. This isn't a fantasy game, so I don't understand.
Every time we do an MMO RPG,
Sure.
I want to start the video that way with you. I'm trying to start a tradition with you, Phil.
I guess that's fair. Do you have any quests for me? Is there something I can go get for you?
I have quests. I have a hex-based map. I have turbines. I have a mustache. I have so many things for you. This is Wildstar, the beta for Wildstar, which I wanted to hit just like super quick. The beta stopped last week, so I guess we're a little behind already. Just like off the jump, gonna collect some butterflies.
Great.
Yeah, kind of a unique MMO experience. Just gonna jump up and grab some butterflies.
Oh, you're just jumping. You're just touching them to grab them.
Double jumping, touching them.
It's like a platformer.
It's a lot like a platformer. Each one gives you a little speed boost. Like I don't really need to say anything. Like you already know why this is a unique gameplay experience with the butterfly catching. I wanted to do a quick hit of the beta just to like show off a little bit of like how bonkers this game is, and then we can go more in depth.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
We'll come back and do the final version once we've had a lot of time to spend on it. I'm gonna show in this video just a couple of characters sort of early on. To give viewers just a taste of sort of what sets this game apart, because there's kind of a lot that sets it apart. Gambling. So every time you complete one of these challenges, you choose one of these different rewards, and then there's sort of a roulette spin. And the one that you choose, it basically doubles it if that's what the roulette lands on. Otherwise, you just get one of the thing. So we're going to have to move really quick because there's like a ton of shit to explain. Let's start with the thing that just happened. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I just want to ask you, I mean, I think the thing, as we're starting to show this game for the first time, the thing I want to get out of the way right now is, you know, I love MMOs.
Yep.
This game has a ton of buzz from MMO fans.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why or where that came from. Why are people excited for Wildstar? Why should anyone care about Wildstar?
Here's what I think sets Wildstar apart. We're seeing a lot of MMO developers starting to get clever about changing sort of how they do MMOs by adding different sort of genres into the mix.
Sure.
So Elder Scrolls Online, you know, it feels a little bit more like a traditional action MMO experience. Games like Neverwinter is like a straight up like action MMORPG. We're seeing a lot of games move in that direction. We're seeing like other elements layered on top of it. What Wildstar is doing is sort of taking the classic MMO idea and without like layering on too many other genre ideas, just sort of making it as dense and as fast and as accessible as it can be. It feels a lot like a hyperactive World of Warcraft almost.
Sure.
I have to point out what I'm doing right here, because this is, I think, one of the big things that sets it apart. In addition to your class, which is sort of the traditional archetype, you also have a path, which is based less around like what abilities and how your combat maneuvers work, and more about just like how you play MMOs. And I think this is the big thing that is also setting it apart, because people play MMOs for different reasons. This character is an explorer, so he gets access to like exclusive areas and exclusive like platforms that only he can see. To reach areas and see cutscenes and like really explore the world like nobody else can. And there are three other paths. There's the soldier, which is all about, you know, fighting enemies, which is another desire that some MMO players have. There's the settler, who's more about social experiences. There's the scientist, who's more about lore and collection. So I think that's one of the big reasons why people are, you know, sort of getting on board with this game.
So that's cool. When you choose that path, so you've chosen Explorer.
I chose Explorer at the beginning, yeah.
Does that cut you off from content that the others would get then?
It's, again, like, it's less about, like, cutting you off from content and more about sort of making you feel like you're getting a tailored experience to how you like to play MMOs. I had the same question for them, and what's cool is when you team up with other players with other paths, you can experience their content, and sometimes like your content will go hand in hand with theirs if you have the right like path combination in a certain scenario. For instance, my other character is a settler who's all about building and repairing things. You can find a robot, for instance, in a dungeon, this big massive robot, and you can repair it using your settler's, you know, path. And then if somebody else is a scientist, they'll know how to activate that robot. And then all of a sudden, you've got this robot buddy that will follow you around. Maybe as an explorer, you'll find like a secret door, but you can't get through that door unless you have a scientist on your team that knows how to, hack it or whatever.
Interesting.
It kind of has an old school MMO or a D&D feel to it. That is completely apart from, no big deal. Just got level 5. It's completely separate from like the rest of what you would consider to be the traditional mechanics of the game.
Are there regular classes then on top of this path that you're choosing?
There are. So this character is a stalker, I believe is the name of the class. It's the sort of rogue type character. But each of the classes are a little bit different from the traditional archetype. For instance, the stalker is less about stealth and backstabbing, although he definitely does have access to those abilities. He also has power armor.
Well, and I see you have Wolverine claws.
I have Wolverine claws. That's the stalker's main ability, or his main weapon type. And then there's the engineer, who is the pet class, who can get these drones that follow them around, and they wield a shotgun, giving them all these area of effect attacks. That's a class that I play as later on in the video. So it's not the warrior class, for instance, does use a big ass sword, but they also have like a wrist mounted blaster that they can use on enemies, which is pretty tight. And
because this is a I mean, we're seeing right now you're in caves. It looks very fantasy, but it's technically like a sci-fi.
It's a sci-fi fantasy sort of hybrid.
Sure.
There's magic and there is science stuff happening. I think the cool thing about the world is just like rad, and it's so dense and so huge, and there's so many different opportunities to do stuff even outside of the paths. But once you do add those paths in, like there's a ton of shit to see, and that is almost a big driving force. It's like, what is this giant tree robot? Let's find out more about that. Like it is I haven't played like an MMO in a while where I cared about anything more than just like leveling up, getting new powers, finding awesome loot in raids. And I think one of the big pulls for Wildstar is like, you want to find out more about this area. Like it's a world that like really hasn't been done before in the MMO space. And so like that is a big driving factor, I feel like. Oh, the tree's dead. And I lost the game,
that was
and
sad.
that's the end of Wildstar. It's a very short no, I'm just playing. Just playing, guys. Calm down.
Well, is this the same area? Is everything
same
messed
area,
up now?
yeah. So the world is also dynamic. So based on the events that have unfolded, you'll have access to different layers of it, for lack of a better term. Right now, I'm just trying to get vengeance on these people that killed that tree.
I mean, they should be.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
They should be punished.
As you can see, the combat's like super fast paced, and this is still like, keep in mind, like really early on. But you really have to have your wits about you to avoid getting hit, because a big thing in this game, I would say it's like the biggest defining characteristic of its combat are the telegraphs, which are prominently displayed, and basically every enemy has a super powerful attack that is telegraphed by those big red fields on the ground, and then you have to figure out a way to get out of it, to avoid it, while still dishing out damage. It's really
kind of
cool.
Immediately preparing you for the stuff that you'll see in raids, I assume.
Yes, because in raids, like it's not just like a big square emanates out of an enemy. It's like crazy patterns that you have to. And you have to use, like, there's a dodge ability that you have that's on a cooldown. You have to use that pretty frequently. You can sprint to get out of the way of those things. So like you're not gonna just plant it and wait for your cooldowns to expire. It is a very, like, you have to be very positionally minded, for lack of a better term. There's also some really cool stuff in how it handles stuns. So, like, stunning is an idea that is pretty prominent in MMOs, where you hit an enemy with a stun and then they can't move for a few seconds, and if you get hit with a stun, same is true. And, like, the idea is that that's not very fun, like, watching everybody else play while you wait for this cooldown timer. So there's like active stuns where, like, you have to jam on the F key really quick if you want to get out of it. There's one where, like, I think like your controls are reversed, so you can still, like, keep playing, but you have to, like, actively do something or deal with, like, a hindrance. And I don't know, stuff like that just shows, like, these guys, we should mention it's made by Carbine, like, they know what they're doing in terms of MMOs, and they've obviously been studying the space and sort of trying to correct some of its issues. And like I think a lot of developers are making MMOs that way. I think that's prominently how, like, in the post WoW era, or I guess the current WoW era, like developers realize they have to be sort of smarter about how they develop these games. But instead of like trying to do that in one big broad idea of like, well, let's just make it an action game or let's make it a shooter, they are making a very like traditional WoW-esque or EverQuest-esque MMO, but they're just trying to make it, as you can see, I ran in some jelly. It snared me. They're just trying to make that style of game as good as they possibly can. And I really do think that it sort of separates it from the pack. How well it does that, I don't know, because I've only played up to like level 10 or 11.
And that's why we'll come back to this and probably do another overview video, because we need to spend some time with it. For an MMO, you need to spend some time with it before you really come up with some solid feelings.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning, I think Carbine, I think this is their first game that they've released, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But it's made up of a lot of people who have worked on, well, like worked at Blizzard and worked at other MMO developers, and so they have a lot of experience.
Yeah. So this is like a mini boss, and you can see like those telegraphs are just like these big red circles that he's just like launching a salvo of shots at you on the ground. You have to like, it's tricky to like pay attention to where you are, where the enemy is, and where his attacks are going to land.
Yeah.
So here's just another couple quick examples of like what explorers can do. This little hidden area that like people can get to, it's just not going to show up on your map, is like an objective. And as you find these things, you can see that little box down at the bottom right has all of my explorer quests in it. As you complete those, you earn path experience, and as you level up with that, you'll get like helpful abilities. Not like abilities that you would traditionally use in combat. You're not going to get like new attacks, but it'll give you things that make you a better explorer, or it'll give you like exclusive titles and stuff like that. It's I don't know. It's not as compelling, I don't think, as like, oh man, I can't wait till I get that one super powerful area of effect attack that I need to be viable in raids. But it is like, I don't know, it's really compelling, and I find myself...
Sure, I mean, like, I can say, like, as somebody who... I like exploring in MMOs, that's kind of my pull. Like, really seeing everything there is to see in the zone, and if I get rewarded for that with stuff that helps me to see more things in more zones, like, that's... I can see that being a cool experience.
Yeah. Here's another one. You can plant a flag in the ground, and it will show you other objectives in the area, like in your immediate vicinity. So you can see my quest box opened up pretty significantly when I did that. It also helps out other players on your team whenever you play these flags.
Are you gonna name this area after yourself?
I name it DJ Jazzy Jeff Mountain.
That's pretty good.
So I'm gonna hop over to my other guy. This is my settler engineer. So I built this farmer's market earlier. Helped contribute to that. And now I'm going to eat some bird and get an HP boost. So, like, the Explorer path is all about building, fixing, repairing things. For instance, I'm just going to, like, light this torch, and it gives me a little bit of reputation bonus in the area.
That's the settler path?
That's the settler path, yeah. Okay. And it's really all about, like, this idea of helping out other players without maybe even being a medic, without being, a healer or somebody who, like, casts buffs. You can build like a station that players can interact with, and then it significantly increases their run speed or their experience gains. And as you can see, by his telegraph, this guy's stuff is all area of effect. So like, I can't tell you how satisfying it is just to like wander into a group with your shotgun and just start taking down fools en masse. Especially when you have the help of your two little robo buddies there. It also helps that every time you kill a bunch of enemies in succession, you get like a double kill, which is a nice touch.
They got the Unreal Tournament guy.
I don't know if it is that guy, but if it's not that guy, he's doing a damn good impression. So here I've just set off another sort of dynamic challenge. You can see with the timer. Some of those challenges are like, see how many of this thing you can do in a time limit. Some of them have like a set objective limit, like kill 10 enemies as fast as you can, and then you get rewards based on how quickly you do it. I feel like the idea of layering different activities on top of the player is also something that a lot of developers are messing with. We talked about it in our Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn overview. this idea of just like, oh, you're running to a quest and then you find maybe a unique boss that you can fight, or maybe you encounter like a group event that you can just sort of hop right into. And it's like giving you things to do while on the way to the thing that you like originally planned on doing. And Wildstar is doing that in huge quantities. It also has like a crafting and collecting system that's sort of, you know, you have to have in all your MMOs.
Of course.
So it has that on top of it too. And then of course like all the path stuff. Like while you're running to like go complete this quest, it's like, hey, there's a big tree. Why don't you go climb that big tree? Yeah, I think I will. Thank you.
I'm gonna climb all of the trees.
I'll climb all the trees that there are in the whole world. The scientist path is kind of cool. You have like a drone that follows you around everywhere that will like give you a little alert when there's something nearby that you can study. And then you study it and then learn a bit of lore about that creature in the area around you.
I don't like learning. I don't trust
like
that.
learning or reading. It's not a path I probably will ever play. I'm also not so crazy about the soldier path because like,
yeah, what is that? What is that? Because these are all things that, you know, you might not be able to see in the world otherwise, or you might not be able to stumble on. But
the soldier has access to, like, they can set down little beacons that will summon waves of enemies, and you have to protect that beacon from the waves. Which is, or it'll be like you can like summon an exclusive boss that like nobody else can fight.
I was gonna say that would be kind of cool if you can summon like special enemies, like special sub bosses or whatever. But
yeah, each path sort of has access to like different ideas. Like the settler can help contribute to these big projects that last a really long time and provide a lot of bonuses to players in the area, or they can build these like, you know, little one-off projects, or they can, you know, repair a motorbike and like ride that from one point to another. Like
here's my concern going in.
Yeah.
Is you know, I don't know what the paths are like. I don't know how they progress. My concern is it going to be something where you get to the end of the game, and if you want to be a good raider, if you want to be the best raider you can be,
then there's a path.
Yeah, you have to have taken this specific path that gets you access to some specific bonus.
I don't think so, because I think they've kept that in mind, and I don't think the things that you like are awarded for leveling up your path are so huge for like the actual play. Like think about it like almost divided into two ideas. Like there's stuff that everybody wants to do when they play an MMO. You want to find loot, you want to level up, you want to get stronger, you want to get like mechanically stronger, more useful to a party or a raid. They don't want to gate that stuff off. So that's why there's not like a mercantile path, because like everybody wants to find loot and, you know, sell it and all that stuff. So that stuff is probably, I mean, I can't speak authoritatively because I've only played up to like level 10 or 11, but I mean, so far I haven't encountered anything like that. And honestly, I think that would sort of so completely undermine the entire system that they would be pretty silly to do it. But we'll see. We really need to spend some more time with this. I just wanted to show it off because I think it's a game people are going to be talking about a lot. I think it's one of the more interesting MMOs that has come out in a while. It's coming out, what, early June?
Yeah, very soon. It's like 2 weeks away from launch.
Okay. So it'll be a while, I think, before we can, you know, do a second take on it. Let's tentatively say we will probably do the second take after E3. Let's just skip E3, you and I. We'll talk to the boss man. We'll say, listen, I know that we had a lot of plans, but we got to skip it so that we can grind.
Gotta play this MMO.
Gotta grind on some space elves. Here, I'm gonna cut down a tree. Collecting resources is super great. Use a laser saw, and it just sort of like pops off, and then you gotta pick it up. It's very satisfying. There's a lot of mechanically satisfying shit in this game. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, you're selling me on it. I was skeptical going in, and I'm definitely less skeptical having watched this.
Yeah, I mean, like the MMO that I've played the most of all time is still World of Warcraft, and it's because like I just like that game. I like an MMORPG, not like it's fine if you can like layer other stuff on top of that and do it in a manner that is tidy. But a lot of games sort of have trouble with that. And so a game that just doesn't try to do more than that, just does it really, really well, assuming it can, like, I don't know, man. I'm into it.
That's cool. I'm also into it.
All right, so we'll come back, do another one of these on this game soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.